Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to.
That's pretty funny.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. And I did fuck up moving from the video to the show, from the intro to the show this week because StreamYard is a cunt. Let's see how this works. Boom. That's a Pakka on solo. Hold on. Right. If we do this, right. There we go. Yeah. Look, StreamYard has changed how everything works.
Yeah.
And it's changed how you get anything from the things that you have at the bottom that you people at home don't need to worry about up onto the screen and make it present. And it's doing my fucking head in because it is. Right. Anyway, look, there's madness afoot. Welcome to the show. We weren't intending to start with Robyn from Courage is a Cure, but I'm not sure exactly what has went on. She was looking for the link to get in the StreamYard this morning because time zones in Australia, and she thought it was today because I'd sent the link earlier. I don't know, but anyway, who we have got here tonight for your entertainment is professional co-host Mr. Pakka. Pakka, what about you, chum? Oh, and here is Robyn, Courage is a Cure. See, look, we've got four now. Morning. How's yourself?
Good, very good. How is everyone here? Nice to see you again, 40. Hi, Pakka. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Robyn.
Oh, we're all good. But trying to deal with StreamYard and all its issues again. What I'm going to do is I'll go through and say hello to everybody, get everybody introduced. Then I'm going to do the shout outs and stuff, which will be short this week because most of the shout outs are actually on the stage, which is good. We'll like that. And then we'll get into the madness. And we do have some really good madness. Coming up, I have got what I believe to be the first documented case of women identifying as cats. I think I've found the source of where it comes from. And Pakka, I know, has got a story about the supernatural and that connects into it. It's mad. We've got the madness. So with no further ado, where was it? Where were Pakka? We'll go round clockwise and yeah. So, Pakka, what about you, chum?
Well, hello. I'm here because my brother Sensen, the other most prolific man on the internet.
Yeah. Well, talking about that,
he's not here.
We should have brought this up. Emma G, the wonderful, delectable Emma G, has commented, how come Pakka's picks not in the thumbnail? That's because Sansom normally does the thumbnails, and see those thumbnails that you get for the end of the month show with the music and everything, that's all Sansom. And the intern who is getting sacked from thumbnail duty, namely me, produced this one, and I wasn't sure what picture Pakka wanted or what he wanted on it, and it never got finished. So that's how that happened. So there you go. Yeah, but Sansom is working. He's unavailable this week, so we've got professional co-host Mr. Pakka. who comes in on such occasions.
Yeah, we can still, if you've got your Sensum bingo card, we are still playing. Okay, so the first one, Lick Spittle. All right,
Right. Right.
we'll be
Okay.
dropping them in as we go.
See, Robin, you're seeing how mad this is. This is why you got to write the reply. And on the right to play slot is Rich from RPW Media, who was here last month. And I always like to think that people could arrive here and go, what the fuck was that stream actually about? And I think it's only fair to give you an opportunity to come back and clarify things or just realize that it was that mad. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I've had many death threats. Yeah, you got to come back and straighten it out.
Yes, it's all good. And I'm putting up some comments of the people because I'm not going through and doing all those shout outs. So we'll recognize that way. So you're all good. Robin from down under, how's everything down there?
Very well. Very interesting as well. Just a comment on bingo. I had a really great show a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if anyone here has heard of the pandemic treaty from one of those disgusting three-letter agencies. We
Yes.
had a pandemic treaty bingo show, which was hugely successful. Everyone made their own bingo cards with the language that those creatures use. It was a lot of fun.
That does sound good. That's almost as good as a duck race. Have you watched the duck race?
I've participated in one in Germany, actually.
Oh,
You mean a real duck race, or are you referring to something else?
We actually did England Day did one of those duck races where you get the ducks and put them in the stream and all that. But every Friday night on the Dave Waffle House show, we have the world's best internet duck race where all the ducks race down the stream digitally. And Slim this week won a Bluetooth speaker, which is the first time in about 3 weeks the prize has not been a tin of liquid ass. So it's yeah. So
not sure I know what a tin of
liquid ass.
You don't want to believe it.
Can you imagine a stink bomb in an aerosol can, but to military grade? That's liquid ass.
Yep.
So it's very, very smelly stuff. And one of the things that you can't possibly win if you participate in the Dave Waffle House duck race. Many ways to get ducks. You can buy ducks, you can comment on streams, you can interact during the stream, and you get a duck and it goes down the race. Another show, the other two shows I'd like to shout out is obviously Robin Cardi Secure, Rich from RPW Media, who are both here. Yes, I will be putting their links in and whatnot, so you can all go and subscribe. We want to grow this thing. We want to spread the madness. And what else have we got? Oh, yes. And I'm not sure what's happening tomorrow night with Ragnar Iron and Jack London. They may or may not have a stream. I'm guessing they probably will. They will have guests. Haven't seen anything about who the guests are this week. So that's us all up to date with the shout outs and stuff. And I continue to put comments up and whatnot. And with that, anything before we begin with our first bit of madness? Anything anybody wants to get off their chest? Well settled in?
I think so. I've got my my Nana blanket. I've woken upon one of the coldest mornings this year in little old Perth. So I've got my grandma blanket. I'm all ready.
Yeah, just as someone who has to live in England the whole year, I'd just like to say it must be awful for you.
Exactly. I know.
In the middle of summer here, yay!
Is it one of those crisp mornings where everything's covered in frost?
Yes, well, the sun hasn't come up yet, but I anticipate some frost when we can see outside. Yes,
This is the other thing. Perth's basically surrounded by desert, is it not?
pretty much.
Yeah. And deserts get cold at night.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, very true, very true. Yeah, and what are we? We're the most isolated capital city in the world, which is another interesting fun fact for quiz nights. We've got bingo nights, quiz nights. Yeah.
Noted.
Excellent. Right. I'm going to my first story, which oh, hold on. I've have to find the tab now. Have I lost it? Oh dear, 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 dear. This is not good. 1 second. People, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to find the first link. Rich, Robyn, say hello to each other, whatever.
Rich, I was going to say, I had a little bit of a snoop online for RPW Media. Can you tell me a little bit about RPW Media?
What, the channel and the news site? Yeah, we're
Yeah.
America First conservatives. We
Mhm.
believe we believe that America has been screwed by the globalists for way too long. We don't like it. America First doesn't mean America alone. It just means that we stop screwing over our working class people, and
Mhm.
then we take care of Americans first, and then we take care of anybody else that needs help. That's how it should be. Every other country should be nationalists, I believe, in the truest sense of the form. You love your country, but you will help others as well, and that's what we
Mhm.
believe. That's pretty much that. And I like to trash the left. So, I mean, true left. I'm not talking about liberals because I can get along with liberals. I think conservatives and liberals can get along because we have the same goals. We just go about it differently. Whereas
Mhm.
conservatives believe that capitalism will handle many problems. The liberals believe the government should do it. And then came the left, and they completely screwed everything up because we have absolutely nothing in common with the left. That's my belief. I don't know how you feel
Mhm.
about that, but I think
Mhm.
people saying that men putting on a dress and saying that they're a woman is nothing to do with liberals and conservatives. That's just crazy town and that kind of stuff. So I like to make fun of those people, and that's what I do.
Yes, I agree with you, Rich.
While we're talking about making fun of people, check this out. I believe this to be the first documented. Where did that go now? I have too many links open because I was on that, and now it's gone. Right. Zoom out on again. So we've got. Yeah, we're accepting your cookies. The Meowing Nuns of France, a bizarre case of mass hysteria. And there's a nice little picture of the cats. History is full of strange and inexplicable events, but few as bizarre as the case of the Meowing Nuns of France, a 15th century in a 15th century convent, a group of nuns suddenly began meowing like cats. The behaviour had spread through the entire community. This event, though lesser known than the infamous dancing plague of 1581, we'll come on to that in a minute, remains one of the most fascinating examples of mass hysteria in history. So, the strange episode reportedly took place in a French convent sometime in the 1400s. It all started when a single nun, who without warning began emitting loud meowing sounds. Over time, her peculiar behaviour spread to the other nuns, until the entire convent was filled with synchronized feline cries. According to historical accounts, the nuns would meow together for hours, sometimes at specific times of the day, almost as if they were following an unseen force. The situation became so uncontrollable that Local villagers grew alarmed, and eventually the convent was visited by soldiers who threatened to whip the nuns if they did not stop. Now, I will say, in the other nunnery where the nuns had started biting each other and anyone else that came near them, they did actually whip them. They went straight to the whip, but this fear proved to be an effective cure. After the threats, the meowing mysteriously ceased. Yes, this is common with all of these fake mental illnesses. As soon as you get consequences for the actions suddenly stop.
Yeah.
First glance to the case of a meowing nun seemed utterly inexplicable. However, scholars and psychologists have put forward several theories to explain it. Most widely accepted theory of mass hysteria, mass psychotic illness, which occurs when extreme stress, social isolation, or psychological distress manifest in physical or behavioral symptoms. Now, what I'm going to say is, what they haven't mentioned is the indoctrination that all these women were put through simultaneously, and the conversion of their thinking mate. And I'm going to say that process is probably what led this first girl meowing and then the rest of them following suit. And I think this is very similar to what we see in high schools, where young girls who are being indoctrinated in the feminism suddenly decide they're going to be a cat. I think those two things are connected. Can't prove it, but it's an opinion, not a fact. Medieval convents were highly restrictive and regimental environments, just like a normal school now, with strict religious rules and little personal freedom, exactly like a school now, because you do have no religious freedom or personal freedom of opinion. The nuns likely experienced emotional repression, which could have triggered an unusual psychosomatic response. The spread of behavior suggests social contagion, where people unconsciously mimic the actions of those around them. In medieval Europe, superstition was deeply woven into daily life. Many people believed in demonic possession, cures, and supernatural influences. Some theories suggest that meowing was a form of spiritual hysteria, where nuns believed they were all under the influence of the demonic force. No, the one where they claimed that it was a mass. What's it called whenever spirit takes over your body? Possession. The one where they said it was a mass possession was the one where they were all masturbating. Connected at Saint Germain, a legendary figure rumored to have the ability to transform in a cat is more folklore than fact. And Saint Germain is also the setting for the book, The Story of O. Be careful if you decide to read that. It's a little bit naughty. Interestingly, the cat motif might not have been random. In medieval Europe, cats were often associated with witchcraft and the devil. The Catholic Church had at times promoted the idea cats were familiar to witches, and some convents even banned them. Some scholars suggest nuns may have been influenced by local folk beliefs about cats. Alternatively, the meowing may have been a subconscious form of rebellion against the religious oppression. Similar in mass hysteria, they're saying the dancing plague of 1518, hundreds of people in Strasbourg danced uncontrollably for weeks, with some dying from exhaustion. Yes, the laughing plague. Contagious fits of laughter spread through Tanzanian school, lasting for months. And these people were actually laughing to the point where they were crying, but apparently couldn't stop laughing, and they were in physical pain. With hundreds of...
Didn't Monty Python cover that?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I probably did. Hundreds of Palestinian girls suddenly fainted in unexpected outbreak of mass psychotic illness. 1 second, I need to cough.
They're nuts. What a show you came on, right?
Yeah, they need to check up from the neck up. Word. Yeah. That's not it. That's yeah. After the intervention of soldiers, the Marian nuns of France stopped their feline behaviour, and the incident faded into history. Unlike the dancing plague, which was documented by city officials, the records of the Marian nuns are sparse, making it difficult to determine exactly how widespread the event was and how long it lasted. Do you know who knows exactly how long? The Vatican, because they oversaw it and they were the people that took the records away. Despite its obscurity, the event remains a fascinating glimpse into the power of collective psychology, whether caused by stress or belief, rebellion, and serves a reminder of how mysterious human behavior can be, especially in times of fear and oppression. Thoughts, people?
Yeah, well, that social contagion, that, as soon as you started reading that, was one of my first thoughts, and most definitely making those correlations with the left at the moment. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's proven. They did a lot of research about phenomena, if you like, such as bulimia, anorexia, and cutting, and came to some reasonable conclusions that primarily it's young women, and it is one of these awful
The most
situations.
the most spreadable one of those is Tourette's. Once Tourette's gets into your school, it spreads.
Did somebody comment that? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a school with no girls with Tourette's and one girl gets it, within 2 weeks you've got 10.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're saying that Tourette's syndrome spreads?
Yeah. I'll tell you better than that. It's also not real. It's also not real because
it's documented. That's what happens.
Right, so,
the numbers are in.
Here, Rich. Have a
but it also happens with cutting and with bulimia.
Yeah. Well, after COVID, we don't believe a goddamn thing our medical people tell us anymore.
Yeah. Well, see, here's what happens. The story behind Tourette's is apparently it's an affliction whereby you're forced to have these outbursts.
Jimmy.
They are totally uncontrollable. You have no control of them whatsoever. However, every outburst is something like fucker, bastard, wanker, shit, you're a cunt. Right. Now, if it was truly uncontrollable, half of those would be, see, you're fucking brilliant. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Don't ever stop doing that. You're brilliant. But you never hear that with Tourette's. With this condition, which apparently there's no choice of, there seems to be a hell of a lot of choice being used.
Mm-hmm.
And once it goes into your school, you have a school with no girls have it. One girl gets it, then you get 10.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
And the other thing is, the other really interesting thing, Robyn's probably heard of it. Rich, have you ever heard of a children's show called Blue Peter?
No.
Sorry. I'm on a different tangent, a different mental illness. That was.
Are you still on Tourette's?
No, there's a children's program in Great Britain called Blue Peter. Robyn, do you get that in Australia or a version of?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, me either. Sorry.
It's this educational TV that started in the 1960s, and they would have 3 presenters, and they would teach you how to make stuff with used washing up liquid bottles and cardboard boxes, and you can get prizes, and they give people awards for charity work and all sorts of stuff. The idea is a nice, wholesome children's education. And one time on that show, the Blue Peter had a Blue Peter garden where they went outside and they did planting and stuff. They had a Blue Peter dog that run about the studio, and they wheeled in this guy called Joey Deacon, who was the Blue Peter spastic. That's the word, because spastic was the medical term at that stage.
It was, yep.
Right, and so they brought in this spastic with his grifting handler, who said that he could interpret Joey Deacon's grunts and give you a sentence out of them, which he was obviously just making up on the fly. Well, that show went out on a Tuesday afternoon. On Wednesday morning, the great British children that had consumed this show went to school. And then in playgrounds across the country, somebody did something stupid. They fell over, they dropped their pencil or whatever, and the whole class went, Joey, Joey, Joey. And that was, and from then on, actually, it started off as spastic, and from then on, we were never allowed to use that word. They created the name for the condition.
That's crazy, man.
Yes, it's having done 18 years on Prozac, and I don't know how many bouts of I think it's 4 bouts of cognitive behavioral therapy, and 3 sets of sessions with psychologists for post-traumatic stress disorder and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I can tell you I've done a very in-depth review of the mental health system, and it's full of shit.
It's crazy.
Mate,
too soon?
I'll tell you how crazy it is. I escaped the abusive relationship in 2012. I'm only getting sorted out now. But what I've been dealing with to try to get to where I should have been was on doing all the shit that the psychologist gave me. It's bullshit, mate. Yeah. They invented. But there you go. Anyway. Sorry. I interrupted that and took you on a really wild tangent. Robyn, sorry. What were you saying?
So was it?
Yeah,
Well, I learned something. I didn't know Tourette's was part of that list, but
yeah.
You know, I wish it was. I wish that was part of, the general public's knowledge, because I did a speech in the middle of Perth talking about a very famous court case here in Australia in regards to Billboard Chris and the e-safety commissioner that we have here, and our appointed American e-safety commissioner, unelected, completely unelected, wanting to protect everybody online, not censor anybody. This kind of very, I would say it's a high-profile case. I mean, I think a lot of people in the audience would know who Billboard Chris is, and he goes about the streets of the world talking about the medicalisation and castration of children because of this woke transgender business. When I was talking about that in the middle of Perth streets and talking about the social contagion that we have now with our youth being part of the alphabet soup and all the rest of it. People, I don't know, it's hard to say whether or not people were looking at me like I was a mental patient because I was standing in the streets talking about what I was talking about, or they just don't actually have that knowledge that things like bulimia and cutting, and now all of this business with the alphabet soup, as I said, is social contagion, and we're actively allowing our youth to be harmed when we can do something about it. So yeah, I wish this information was part of the discourse for the general public. I don't think it is, though.
Well, the other thing about that is the way, like, the amount of young boys that I see in the place where I am that in my local area and growing up on that apparently have ADHD, and they're totally uncontrollable and wild. And something happens round about the age of 16, 17, and it all just goes. It just stops right there, right then. Because they're living in a working class area and they've hit the age where you get a smack in the mouth. And
that always worked when I was growing up.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how well that knocks the ADHD out of you.
I actually read a story where there was a study where they tried to say, well, how come kids didn't have ADHD only until a certain time throughout history, right? And I always thought, well, they did. We just called it being a young boy. You know, you have all this pent up energy, and you got to sit in a classroom all day, and
boisterous.
Recess is never enough to get rid of all that shit, right? But here you go. Here's what they said. They said that it was the invention of television for children watching television, because a lot of people put their kids in front of the telly instead of actually being parents. And so they said that at a young age, your brain is still forming. And said with a television cartoon show, if you think about it, every 2 seconds, the screen changes. And so that kid's sitting there and he's trying to manipulate. And while he or she is growing in the brain and it's forming, they say that it gets used to the patterns of the television moving around. Okay. And that what happens is then their brain works really fast and can actually catch on to it. And so that when they then go into school, they're sitting there, and the classroom, anywhere from 20 to 30 kids, right? And so the teacher can't always focus on one student the whole time. So the kid just starts acting up because his brain is still trying to work the way it does when he spends 8 hours a day watching television. And that was one theory they said. Me personally, I think it's bullshit. I do. They tried to diagnose my son with it, my oldest, and they wanted to put him on Ritalin. I said no, but we were divorced at the time, and his mother said yes and put him on Ritalin, and which I'm not for putting a kid on a drug because the teacher doesn't know how to handle a hyperactive kid. You know, I just never believed in that, and I understand that maybe some kids are way too hyperactive, and maybe they do need the Ritalin. I don't know, but I didn't think my kid did. I mean, he was very hyperactive, but
Did they say this started in the 1960s?
I can't remember. It was when television started becoming popular. Because remember, in the United States, anyway, not everybody had a TV right away.
Right. Oh, same here. But here's the interesting thing: the television became more common at the same time that we changed the whole schooling system and optimized it for girls.
Right.
By the way, I'm not picking on you, Robin, by the way, but we had a school system that was based on academic achievement, and girls as a group were slightly lower than boys, and they seen that as a problem. And in order to change that, we optimized the schools for girls. We put in policies and procedures about discipline and stuff that are tailored for girls. And then whenever the boys didn't fit in that pattern of behavior, we treated them as dysfunctional boys. And then they needed the Ritalin to deal with the fact that they could see that they were being treated very differently due to being boys. And that's what caused the crack in their head. And then because they were pointing out what was wrong, they says, here, have some of that and shut up. That's pretty much the history of it. Now, are there genuine cases of ADHD? There probably are. They're probably very few and very far between. But I really don't think giving a child a drug that's going to speed its brain process up that's already too fast, I don't think that's a way forward. Because what Ritalin is attempting to do is to put more and more and more input in till the brain just can't hold it, and then it fucking clocks out. But it's not. Ooh, yeah, doesn't surprise me, Jimmy.
Now, my youngest son, this is interesting. My youngest son, second wife, he was misbehaving in first grade, and they called us in for a meeting with the vice principal and a couple other teachers, and they're trying to tell us that he needs to be on Ritalin. And I told them, I will sue the fucking shit out of you if you try to put my kid on that stuff. Now, his mother actually solved it. Imagine that. A person who's not a special person called a teacher actually solved it. What she did was she said, I work across the street and 4 buildings down. If he starts acting like a brat, you call me. I will come into the classroom and it will end. And it had to happen 2 times. And he got his ass beat when he got home, but it had to happen 2 times. And after that, she started taking a break a certain time during the day and never told anybody what time. And she would show up, go into the classroom and sit down. And guess what? Within a week, the boy was the perfect child in class, never misbehaved. And they apologized to us profusely. That's a true story.
Yeah.
Right now, he's in the 1st Cavalry fighting for the U.S. Army. He's a sniper. It's probably all that pent up ADHD that got him into that position. But
yeah.
Can you imagine how many kids are lifelong patients? Potentially, probably there are many.
That was Richie, Jimmy.
that-
I'm sorry. That was Richie, Jimmy. That wasn't Josh. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's my brother,
Yeah.
and that's my brother, Jimmy from Philly.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Jimmy's wasn't prescribed. He just went on
He
it.
just
till
took
was
it.
like,
Yeah, he used to snort it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but perfect example of if parents don't parent their own children and take responsibility and instead let the school insert themselves in that very precious relationship that you have with your own children. And one of those things is to, okay, take on board information from the school and find out what to do about it. You end up with children that are on God knows what medication for God knows how long in their life. And then we all know when you take big pharma's medication,
There
you
you
end
go.
up with a whole lot of symptoms from other things, and then you end up on a whole bunch of other drugs.
Yep.
And oh golly gosh, good on you guys.
I can tell you what the percentage of pupils is in America, Canada, Australia, Great Britain, pretty much all the West. It's 10%, because the psych teachers that they put into the schools have got a target of 10% per year. So, and if you've got if whenever kids arrive in primary 1 or whatever you call it in Canada and America, your first. The psych teachers are then looking all them over and going, I've got 30 kids here. Which 3 am I deciding's got ADHD?
Well, I'll tell you what, my first wife, when I was with my second wife, okay, we got custody of my son from my first wife because we had a suspicion and we proved it. We went through her medical bills by subpoena, and it turns out that she doctor shopped and got him evaluated by a second doctor so that she could get another prescription of Ritalin. And so he was doctor mandated for 2. He would get 1 dose in the morning and the teacher would give him another one after lunch. And then she, being the lazy piece of crap that she was, would plop him in front of a TV in the afternoon, evening, and give him a 3rd dose. That boy was on 65 milligrams a day. And he grew up to be, he had a lot of problems. Right now, he's living in Ohio and he's doing fantastic, but he just grew out of his problem phase about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So you have that problem as well.
Well, the other thing is he's a sniper Army Ranger.
Oh, that's my younger. No, that's my youngest. Believe it or not, my youngest has no red flags. He has no red flags. In fact, I just flew down to Austin, Texas, 2 months ago, back in March, and because he got married, and I met his the father-in-law for the first time, right? And I'm talking to him, and I said, when we met your daughter when she flew up, with Josh, we just fell in love with her right away because we did. She's gorgeous. She's awesome. And he said, "Oh, you know what?" He goes, "I really like your son." I said, "Yeah, I know I'm biased, but I think he's great too, right?" And he goes, "Son," he goes, "I was a state trooper for Texas. Those are the guys you got to watch it." He goes, "I was a state trooper for Texas for 37 years." And he goes, "So I know how to investigate." He goes, "That boy has no red flags." I was like, I know. He's just awesome kid. I hold that to his mother. His mother did that, not me, because I'm a slob. So I mean, that kid has no red flags, honest to goodness. But my older one, he was the problem child, but now he hasn't done drugs himself. He was a drug addict for a while. He hasn't done drugs in about 8 years, and he hasn't caused any misery with people for about 2. So I think he's growing up finally. But you're right. 42. By the time people hit a certain age, it's like, for example, drug addicts. Most of the time, Jimmy, close your ears. Most of the time, drug addicts, they get out of it by the time they're 35. And the reason why is because they look around and they see all their friends who are getting married, having kids, got that house with a white picket fence, right? And they have a car, they got a job, and they're sitting there going, I don't have a pot to piss in. So they get out of it. Most of them. But you're right. It was age. Age is a thing that helps a lot of people get out of many addictions. Not all, but many.
Yeah. Right. Robyn, have you got a weird story for us?
This was a tough one, 40, because I
And any anti-feminist madness is good. or examples of what the woke world is doing, which you are all over.
well, I don't know if it fits into the woke world, but I have a wonderful, wonderful colleague that I work with under the banner of Cafe Lockdown. And we're a community of 12 podcasters. We're the only network like that in Australia. Anyway, and Michael, he lives in a bus and he drives around Australia and has been doing this for a number of years now, since the old Britney Spears war started across the globe. And he talks to a lot of interesting people. And he spoke to a fella about some fighter jets that Australia used to have. And for some reason, we decided to decommission them and just bury them in the desert. Speaking about the desert. And anyway, this is the weird story. Leading on from that conversation that we had about him interviewing this person, we had a very famous prime minister here in Australia called Harold Holt back in the 60s. And so on, what is it, the 17th of December in 1967, Harold Holt, prime minister at the time, went for a swim at a beach in Melbourne, and he went missing. So prime minister at the beach goes for a swim, goes missing. They never found his body. So of course you'll get all of the conspiracy theories. You know, a really good one is that he was a Chinese spy and he swam out and was waiting for a submarine and escaped to Beijing and all these sorts of things. But the weird thing, I don't know if it's weird or creepy, but ironic, I'm not sure, is that after this happened, a Melbourne swimming pool was later named after this Prime Minister, Harold Holt, that went missing. So, uh, creepy. You know, let's name a swimming pool after a Prime Minister goes missing in the sea. And then the locals, apparently, I'm not from Melbourne, I'm from the other side of Australia. Apparently, the locals call it Dead Harry's. But I don't know. Is this one of these creepy things where, you know, something happens, you know, it's shrouded in conspiracy theories, and I don't know if, you know, if something nefarious did happen to him, and they just rub it in people's faces by naming a swimming pool after him, after the Prime Minister.
I thought I knew something about this story. I heard he turned up.
No, still missing.
Yeah.
Never
No,
recovered his
seriously,
body.
he turned. Yeah, no, Madge was standing in the kitchen, right, in the clothes,
Neighbours.
and he just came walking in.
No.
Yeah, in Neighbours. Don't you remember?
Harold.
Oh fuck yes!
You might be right there, Pakka. You might be right.
So,
But I don't know.
Oh,
You know, these various agencies, they always do awful, disgusting things just to rub our faces in it. I wonder if that's one of those cases here. You know?
Was the swimming pool name a warning to their current politicians?
What was that?
Was the name the swimming pool after the Prime Minister who went missing in the sea? Was that maybe a warning to all the other politicians? We can take you too.
Well, who knows?
Do you want a swimming pool named after you?
Maybe.
Oh fuck! That is actually quite a good one.
Short and sharp, yep. But yeah.
There's a picture of him with the mask and snorkels jumping off with his flippers.
And there's a Chinese kid that washed up on shore that looks a lot like him.
Yeah. Then the hunter's saying it could have been a shark. She swims there regular.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Hunter's one of our regular from down your end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. And I think it's a pretty good time for a musical interlude. And I have just a song. I'm really, really, really pleased about this song I'm about to play. It was created by we'll talk about it in a minute. First of all, we'll get it up. Yeah, that's the one there. Present. Share screen. Share screen. No bugs for tea. Where is it? Ha! I really like this. Here we go. And then Rich can talk about it.
Clever disguise, crunchy critters in a plastic tray, but I ain't biting, not today. They tell me it's progress, they tell me it's fine, but I see the cracks in their assembly line. No bugs for tea, no bugs for tea. You can't make me swallow what I can't believe. No bugs for tea, no bugs for tea. Keep your creepy crawlies far away.
Problem with volume.
The telly hums with tiny face, preaching protein, saving space. But my gut says no, my gut's not sold. I'll take my steak, you take your mold. A future they're feeding, a future so strange, but I'm not a puppet for their dietary change. No bugs for tea, no bugs for tea. You can't make me swallow what I can't believe. No bugs for tea, no bugs for tea. Keep your creepy crawlies far away from me. Ooh, ooh. Keep your creepy crawlies far away from me. Ooh, ooh. Keep your creepy crawlies far away from me. No bugs for tea, no bugs for tea.
It's funny you played that.
Rich, I really like that. Rich,
Good.
tell us about this thing that you've created.
I think I sent you like 5 of them, didn't I? I have like 8 versions of it.
So you wrote the song and
I put it into Suno.
yeah,
I wrote the words, but I put it into Suno, and I it took me like 2 or 3 times per version to get it the way I wanted it. Yeah.
well, I think it's absolutely class.
Did you listen to the 42 one I sent you? The bonus?
Oh, I haven't listened to that one yet.
You got to listen to it.
I'll be doing that. So we will be watching it. We'll be listening to it live later on, and I was sort of keeping it for that for near the end of the show.
Oh, cool.
I
almost didn't want. Let me say this. I almost didn't want to show it. I was going to email the link to 42, but I almost didn't because he did the original, and you can't beat the original, right? Have you ever heard it, Robin?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, don't eat the
regularly.
bugs. Yeah.
Yep.
And they tell you to brace, and the first time I was like, what the hell are they talking about, brace? Then I saw it and I'm like, oh man. So I didn't want to like act, like I was stepping on it, because that's like legend, dude. Like what you did is legend.
Please don't ever think that, because here's the thing, particularly for people like me who study history. You've got 2 things that go along in history. You've got the facts, you've got the documents, you've got the dates and all of that. Yeah. And the other thing you've got is what's going on in society. And whenever people go back and look at this period of time, they need to get a conflict between what's being said officially and what's in the zeitgeist of the average people.
Right. Thanks.
For example, at the time of Jack the Ripper, we're all well aware that basically at those times in England, women had no rights and couldn't get a divorce, and they were basically the property of their marriage. But two of Jack the Ripper's victims, 2 of the first 3, were in possession of a special allowance whereby they had handed children back to the father, and the father was paying them every week to cover their necessities. And out of the random group of the people that very low level people that Jack the Ripper killed, there's 2 of them have got that thing that's supposed to be impossible. And that's where you start to going, well, what way did these laws work? And it's going to be a similar thing with the likes of the song that you've just produced and May Eat the Bugs and all that other stuff, where people are going to have to say, well, we're being told that everybody's fully on board with this, but what's all this stuff? Where's that coming from then? And we need to put that out there into the public domain so as the message can spread, but we also need to leave something that people come behind us can know that we actually had these opinions. I think that's very important. And the one thing that I think is good for that is the internet's forever.
Yeah.
And all the videos I've done, all the videos we've all done, they're all still going to be accessible.
Well, I don't know. Have you ever heard of the Wayback Machine?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? We found out that the Biden administration was deleting shit from the Wayback Machine that had to do during the COVID years. That's deleting history.
Yep.
You don't get lower than that.
Well, the reason why we have the Wayback Machine is pretty much every time you go to a news article, it'll tell you when it was written and then when it was edited. Because we're doing 1984 memory hole and stuff in real time with the internet. And the Wayback Machine was the way around that. And yeah, the Bidens, they've just went down on that. Yeah, no, we're taking this out, taking that out. And the amount of links that I have that no longer work are amazing.
They scrub it.
Yep. And whenever I go back on my Facebook profile, if I go back over a year, the amount of posts I have that have got nothing on them whatsoever because it's posted a news article and
Yeah.
it's gone. And you have this post with an empty post with nothing on it, and that's all the stuff that has just been wiped.
Yeah. Well, none of my stuff that I've written could be wiped because I have at least 15 different sites that steal my stuff every single day. And there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I'm not kidding either.
Good. That's
My
your
writers
problem.
are all like, Rich, they stole my shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they'd show me the site. I'm like, oh, goddamn. Because apparently, if you put the original person's name who wrote, you can do the entire article and it's not plagiarism and it's not stealing.
Yeah, provided you're giving credit.
Yeah.
Provided you give credit.
Hey, some of these freaking sites get more views than my site, and they're stealing from me.
Oh, actually, here's another thing. Because both of your channels, I believe, should have a lot more audience than they have. And I'm curious.
I've only been around for a couple years, dude.
Yeah, but the thing that I have caught on to lately is you two don't do ad reads.
Don't do what?
Ad rates, right? You know, like Raid Shadow Legends want you to pump their stuff.
Oh, I'm monetized. Are you monetized, Robin? On YouTube? Yeah, so am I.
Yes, but,
And we could do that, but
right. But here's my theory, and I don't have it's a theory, but I think if you do ad reads for Raid Shadow Legends, Flume, whatever it is, all those things, that tells the powers that be that your opinion can be bought. And they don't want people getting larger whenever they do not know that they can buy their voice.
Right.
And if you go as far as doing Raid Shadow Legends, unless you are very clear about it and go, here, I'm doing these ad reads to try to get my channel promoted. And I don't really know about this product, don't care about it, but here you go. Unless you're doing that, then what they're going is this person will say whatever they need. And the other thing that they'll do is that seems to be because I got this from watching fucking hiking videos. There's two channels I've started binge watching. One's Kyle Hates Hiking, and it's a lot of stories about people who go out into the mountains and get lost and then found or not found or whatever happens to them. And the other one is the Law Lords, which talks a lot about history and folk tales and also people getting disappearing in the mountains. It's all sort of semi-connected, but they all do. They're big channels, but they always do an ad read, and it swaps from time to time to time. And I think that there's a possibility that YouTube and the powers that be are like, if we can buy their voice, we let them grow. We're not that worried about what their political opinion is, because at a certain point, we'll just buy their voice. If people are not willing to do that, then they go hold that one down.
Right. A lot of people think that YouTube is a video streaming platform. That's their business. It's not. Their business is selling ads and making money. That's their business. Yep. And so they want you to make money because then they make money. That's what they want. But I'm in one of the hardest niches around. It's conservative news. And we get hit. If I say one little thing that they don't like, I get a strike. I got a strike because I played a video of a trans person that was going off on this old lady who at a restaurant who accidentally called him sir. And the guy went to no lengths to look like a woman, just had long hair and had a bow in it. And he went off on her. And I played that and I was laughing. I'm going, this guy is nuts, right? You know, and I got a strike for making fun of a trans person, for goodness sake. So I don't know.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. You weren't making fun of them because they were trans. You were making fun of them because they were being an asshole.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and the problem is they want to use trans or whatever it is as a shield to be an asshole.
Yeah, well,
transhole.
They definitely had They've softened a lot, but they definitely had Facebook is worse, by the way. I was until recently I was censored about 98% of my feed. Because we have the analytics of what we get, and we were usually making money hand over fist, and all of a sudden it plummeted.
Yeah,
they were censoring the hell out of us, and recently when they said they would stop, there you go, they did stop. So we're doing better now. But this platform as well censored the hell out of people during the hard years, which was the Obama years, and then the Trump years and the Biden years. Now they're starting to go down again, but I mean, who the hell knows why they did it, whether it was ideology or whether they were forced to do it. Because I know the Biden administration, they call Trump a fascist, but that motherfucker Biden, he actually got 24 departments in the federal government to force censorship on all the platforms. And isn't that one of the first tenets of fascists, where they silence the opposition and then they get private corporations to do their dirty work because they can't do it because of the government? Well, that's what the hell he did, and we had to live through that crap. But I digress. I'm sorry. I took the wind out of that that laugh.
Yeah. No, I don't do ad reads or anything like that, and I've actually started making a point of saying that in recent months on my morning shows for a couple of reasons. But I am 100% crowdfunded, and that is for a very specific reason, so that I can remain independent. Unfortunately, this year, I think what prompted me is this experience that I had this year is I was covering. We had the state election and also the federal election this year, which I covered both of them. Thrilling stuff, I know. I'm never going to do that again. But I had an experience with a former senator who was running again in the federal election, and this person tried to lied to me, and in an effort to censor me, to have me remove my content. And I knew he was lying because the people he was lying about are people that I have a relationship with, where I know what they're doing. So, once that happened, I was just like, I wasn't going to say anything about it. And then I was thinking about it and I thought, hey, hang on a tick, Robyn. You spend a lot of your time when you're reporting on, these disgusting three-letter agencies and the awful politicians, what they've done to us over the past 5 years and all these sorts of things. You call them out. So why wouldn't you do that with this former senator, even though, he has a lot of the same this is funny. He fights on behalf of the general public for a lot of the same causes that my audience are passionate about. Why should I protect his dishonesty and lack of integrity just because he stands for a lot of the causes that people that watch me are passionate for? And I thought, no, I have to be I have to report this to everybody, because if it was some politician on, that's these awful, terrible people that really don't care about us, I'd be one of the first people to call them out. So I thought, no, I have to do the right thing. And so following that, I was like, right, this is it. I am going to stay 100% crowdfunded, all the rest of it. If we know that when you don't read ads and you don't do all those sorts of things, your channel is suppressed and all the rest of it and blah, blah, blah. Yep. But I thought, bugger it. I mean, that doesn't matter to me. It's not why I started this. It's not why I'm doing it. So yeah, now I proudly say I'm 100% crowdfunded, and that enables me to stay 100% independent, because that's so important. And I'll just connect it very quickly back to what you were saying, 40, about your song, Rich, and also 40's song, and all these cultural pieces that are being put together to record history. it's very important, not only because we've got the 1984 memory holding and the newspeak evolving at the moment, we also have the disgusting people that are writing history for the future. For example, giving these reprobates like Anthony Fauci awards.
Yeah.
I mean, that says, or, Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, made her a dame, because they want the children of the future to look back at these historical figures who were given awards and say, oh, they must have done the right thing during that period of time. Otherwise, they wouldn't award them with these great accolades. So they're writing the history for the future children at the moment as well, So I agree with music, culture, art, all those things to record what happened. So, yeah, all of that.
But before you get too far away from what you're both saying, I think you should take a look at each other's channels and at least shill each other. You might as well, mightn't you?
Yeah, it always helps. I will. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
I looked at some of your stuff. I like what you do. I did. I checked you out. I always do before I go on a show with someone. Yeah, I like what you do.
Oh, don't worry, we've all checked you out.
Yeah.
Forgive us.
I didn't mean it that way, but you're right about that though. But you know what, Fauci, he got a pardon, but I think they just ordered. They said that no, he didn't get a pardon because it was done by auto pen. We have a lot of crazy shit going on by our leftists over here. It was done by auto pen. And they said that Biden didn't even know about the 8,000 people that he pardoned. 8,000. That's the most any president's ever done. And Fauci was one of them. General Milley was another one. I think Hillary got one. None of them. They're all null and void.
I would say Biden's personal doctor was the first one on the list.
Which one?
Biden's personal doctor.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because you can't have him having the tale of truth.
I know. Well, I just got as I'm here, I just had a source of mine telling me that 47 just came out and said that over this stuff that's going on with the Russia bullshit, that Obama will be protected by presidential immunity, although I can make a very good legal argument why he shouldn't be, but that everybody else around him is up for prosecution because they committed treason is what they did. And I personally think that Biden did far worse through the COVID stuff. Forcing people to get the jab, F you. I really think, and I mean, think about it. He targeted Americans. These MAGA extremists, they don't believe in the Constitution. All of a sudden, MAGA people with hats on are getting their asses kicked in the streets. They're just god awful people. The left, they just are. I'm not saying liberals. I said the left. Big difference. But yeah, I just did a video, like a full video on that. I played it the other day. I used AI for most of it, but I wrote a song and I thought, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to do a video on it. And it tells in like 3.5 minutes, it tells the entire story of what Obama did. So
excellent. Right. This is all getting very proper and serious. Pakka, have you got something a bit nuts for us?
I'll tell you, I got something nuts for you.
Yeah, you were speaking earlier, about to get batshit crazy again, I'm afraid. You were speaking earlier about, what were you talking about? Oh, yeah, women.
Yeah, the
nuns thinking they were
cats. Yeah.
And you threw witches in there, didn't you?
Yes.
Right, well, I'm bringing it mildly up to date, and then I'm going to throw it in Richie's direction with this story.
Go ahead.
Witches casting spells on President Trump, upset he has some kind of protection around him.
Right.
Can witches defeat President Trump? They're trying.
I think a lot of people.
They're trying.
I have a perfect
hexes cast against President Donald Trump don't appear to be effective. Possibly. Okay. Possibly. Witches complained on Reddit. According to a post highlighted by ex-user at Reddit Lies, a screenshot from Reddit's Witches versus Patriarchy Go Sisters forum shows one which recommended possible ways to circumnavigate Trump's spiritual protective armor. Would today be a good day for a free spell? The user asked. Some other witches have mentioned that doing spells directly against Trump are not effective and are not as effective as we might hope. And seeing he seems to have some kind of protection around him, states the screenshot. This is just nuts. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, they're crazy.
This is Reddit. I don't do Reddit. Is this normal?
I don't do Reddit either.
No,
I post everywhere else, but I don't post on Reddit.
Yeah, it would be normal. Well, the bit that's abnormal is people believing that they're witches and that they can affect the political situation with their.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental illness with some ideologies, right? So, yes, of course they believe that. Now, it's not the Wiccans. I mean, the Wiccans. I know some Wiccans that are very nice people. They're not like crazy. They just, they just love Satan. Oh, they can't get enough of him. But they're like normal people when they're not practicing. So, I hope. Don't tell them I said so.
How would you know?
I don't. That's actually, what I do with a lot of people. I created a video and it's a commercial and it's for curing TDS. And oh, did you?
It's very good.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, but I put that up when I'm on X or even on Facebook, and I just go, this may help feel better. I could play it if you want. I actually could play it.
Right, hold on.
If you want to see it, I can put it up.
Right, we'll get. We'll take this down. That one that needs to come out. If you can put it on the bottom, I believe I can get it up on the screen.
Oh, it allows me to, believe it or not, the new version.
Oh, right.
Of StreamYards, it allows me to, so I could put it up if you want.
Oh, let's go ahead.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Is it working for us?
No,
right.
It's only on.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Oh, there it is.
Overbearing snobbery every time you hear the words, "Make America Great Again." Are your conversations at dinner turning into debates? Do family gatherings feel like congressional hearings? Do you find yourself engaging in heated conversations with your 6 cats about political policies? Have you been found wild-eyed, naked, frothing at the mouth and writhing on the floor? Have your friends described blackouts you suffered where you kept staring into space, repeating things like Russian collusion, he is Hitler, and Joy Reid was right? If you said yes to any of these, then you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. But don't worry, introducing Polycalm, the revolutionary new treatment designed to bring peace back to your household. Crafted by top scientists at RPW Media with a sense of humor and a pinch of irony, Polycalm is clinically proven to reduce symptoms of TDS levels 1 through 5. That's right, no more sudden outbursts at family dinners or knee-jerk unfriending people on social media. No more yelling at people for going into a Walmart through the exit door instead of the welcome side. Polycalm might cause sudden side effects such as extreme agreeableness, an unusual interest in gardening, and a sudden urge to discuss the weather. If you find yourself agreeing to a family game night, consult your recreational therapist immediately. Other side effects include an increased sense of humor, a sudden understanding of different perspectives, and in rare cases, an uncontrollable urge to watch Fox News. Polycalm, because sometimes we all need a little help to stay sane in a world that seems a bit crazy. Available wherever laughter and open conversations are found. Polycalm is not available in stores and doesn't actually exist. But hey, wouldn't it be great if it did? Until then, liberals remember a little laughter and love of country can go a long way. And stop being a dick. Fact checkers, Polycalm is not a real medication. We're just screwing around. Polycalm is intended for humorous purposes only. Always seek professional advice for serious medical conditions like Trump derangement syndrome.
Just relax, be free of care. It's not that hard, just watch.
Very good.
Great.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Wasn't there a state in the US, I've forgotten which one it was, that was trying to make TDS an actual mental illness?
I don't know about that. I never heard that. Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I think it was
No.
in February. Must have been late January or February, I think.
Thanks, Angle.
I would not put like misogyny got put into the fucking DSM-5. Yeah, you know, I really wouldn't I wouldn't put it past them getting that on. Oh,
It was Minnesota. You were
Mm.
right. It's Minnesota. It says here a group of Minnesota Senate Republicans introduced a bill in March 2025 that seeks to classify Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness and incorporate it into the state's legal definition through amended statutes. Oh my God. 1-800-LIBTARD. Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. I know that was on the video. 1-800-LIBTARD. Yeah.
Well,
Oh
that's
my
like
God. That's hilarious.
impatient productions out of Canada.
oh fuck.
And yeah, they've done a whole bunch of videos about the MAID program there, you know, medically assisted
Yeah.
suicide.
Mhm.
And they've done a few ads there too. And a couple of songs, and people kicked up a fuss. And how can you make a joke about killing children?
Yeah.
You know, sick children, you know, choosing to kill themselves. Well, that's what the government's doing.
Right.
Hello, you know.
I did a
so-
video on that. I did a video on that when they voted recently to include children
Mhm.
in that. And that part of the bill was that the parents could not stop it. Can you imagine? I'd be hauling ass for the border.
Mhm.
And I'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
holy, are you kidding me? You
Yep,
know, and
that's right.
I mean, the land of the fruit and the nuts. If you're not one, you got to be the other. That's what Canada has turned into. And I got a lot of Canadian friends that come into my channel. I love my Canadian friends, right? But they're just nuts up there. They went
Yep.
total commie during the COVID stuff, like a lot of countries did. It's just that the other like your country too. No offense, you guys went a little authoritarian nuts there, but you're back to normal now. I hope. I think you are, but I know Canada is still like they're still, you know, they're still
Rich,
spiraling.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Australia going just a little bit overboard with the rules as by robbing
women up against the wall, you know.
Yeah,
they ain't gone all the way back. You never get it all back.
You guys arrested a guy for smoking a cigarette by himself. Well, we arrested a guy in California for surfing out in the ocean all alone without a mask.
Yeah, God.
They all go nuts.
Putting people at risk. I tell you what, how dare you come say?
I know, it was unbelievable. And then to have Fauci and Birx come out later on and go, yeah, we just pulled the whole 6 foot distance thing out of our ass. That's basically what they said. We made it up.
Yeah.
There's no science behind it.
Documents have just been released in Australia a couple of months ago that dictator Dan Andrews, the premier of Victoria, that had some of the longest lockdowns around the world, where they got the stormtroopers out at the Shrine of Remembrance on the Australian public. It's just come out that when he decided to lock Melbourne down, that it wasn't based on any health or medical advice. They just decided to, you know, and they put it in the media, and the public just goes, "Oh, okay, nice to know. Oh well, what? You know."
Was Melbourne not the city that had the massive Black Lives Matter rally during the lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah. But the World Health Agency organization, WHO, the World Health Organization came out and said that while masks are very important for the prevention of COVID, racism is very bad too, and therefore the Black Lives Matter protest is perfectly fine.
The racisms, yeah. I'll tell you what, the WHO.
Oh fuck! Here's the other thing.
You can't stop racism with a paper mask. Remember that,
right?
Okay, people.
A lot of people don't know this about the WHO, but they came out with a guidance program, and what they said was that they wanted it to be like they broke the entire world into regions. Like North America, 3 countries would be one region, right? They did it around the world, and then they said, okay, so if a pandemic is going to break out, we're going to give guidance to every region where it could break out, and you could just disregard it, right? But we'll tell you when you should lock down. Who the hell do these people? We can tell you when you should lock down, when you would get a vaccine, when you, all the things that they did to us, right? And so it was voluntary, which meant it had no teeth. Joe Biden sent Antony Blinken, our piece of crap Secretary of State, over to Europe to hit one of those summits, and he proposed an amendment that they passed, and the amendment said that regions no longer had the right to disregard their guidance. So now it was mandatory. So an unelected group that's run by that Tedros guy who the communist Chinese installed him. They threw shit tons of money at the WHO, and they said, we want this guy. Now, why? Because they knew he could be bought, because what he did was he covered up a lot of problems and mistakes in Ethiopia when they had an Ebola outbreak. And he took a lot of money and covered it up for a lot of people that just did really stupid things. And so they knew they could buy him, which is why Trump pulled out. He was like, what the hell do we want to be in a group like that when they covered for the Chinese for the Wuhan lab stuff? From a bat.
This is the same World Health Organization that put out information about during the pandemic that it's really dangerous to get in close proximity to people, but some people really, really need to have sex with strangers, so it's probably best to fulfill that need via a glory hole because there's a physical barrier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah. And you know what? The very fact that I do not like the idea of glory holes. I think it's fucking vile. But I will say that everybody says.
Where's he going with this?
Yeah, well,
I hadn't given them much consideration until this moment, but it's getting interesting.
Go ahead. I'm very interested.
Everybody claims that men have got trust issues. Glory holes exist.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that would be a trust issue, sure.
Yeah, that's a major.
Some neighborhoods would be worse than others, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
If I'm looking through a hole in the wall just to look through to see what's on the other side, I have my face 4 or 5 inches back so that nothing can jab me in the eye, let alone poke the fucking very important organ through it.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I did warn you. I did.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Well,
we've been talking about glory holes. I'll be honest with you. Oh god.
It's one of those essential services, I think, isn't it? You know, just like the hardware stores stayed open for everybody because that was essential.
Yeah. That was another thing. Who the hell does the government think they are to tell you you're not essential?
Oh, hold on. It was not the government told you you were not essential. It was not the government that decided whether or not people could work, because every prime minister, president, whatever, all had the same thing, and they all said, if it's essential for you to go to work, go to work. If it's possible for you to work from home, work from home. Now, that means that, for example, I work in a factory. I cannot do my job in the house because I need the factory there and the equipment and all that. So therefore, I should have been going to work. Anybody that works in the building trade, it's essential. They can't build off-site, so they had to go to the site.
Right.
But what happened was the order went out, and it was, if you can attend, if you have to attend work because it's necessary, go to work. But if you can work from home, work from home. Somehow the next morning, the teachers, the trade unionists, the NGOs, the civil servants had got this list that involved postal workers, store workers of certain types, public transport, police, fire, blah, blah, blah. And they had segmented them off, but that was never what the original order was. It changed totally between the order being given and the rollout of it, and then that put all the leaders in the position of, well, here, fuck, we've just told all those people not to go to work, which we didn't intend to, but now we'll have to pay them.
Mhm.
And the other big problem was everybody that enjoyed not going to work but still getting paid. They were really the largest part of the problem, because trying to beat those fuckers back into gainful employment was pretty much impossible. And
Same thing here.
yeah, but that meant that in order for them not to go back to their paid employment, they had to essentially lobby for more restrictions. They couldn't be on board with anything anti-vax, anti-restriction, anti-anything. And basically the freeloaders once again fucking done us.
Wow.
I can laugh because I had to go to fucking work, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
the traffic was marvelous.
I never had to
enjoyed the
go
drive to and from.
to this day. I don't have to go into the office to do my job. I'm a programmer. I write software. I could do it from home, and the bastards just made us come back in 4 days a week now. And by December, I think we'll be back 5. So my gasoline bill has skyrocketed ever since they started this bullshit. So,
Rich, to be fair, see a job like yours, I don't know why they bring you into the office. I don't know. See a job like yours where you can do it from your house.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, because do you know what they could be doing? Say you're scheduled to start at 8, but you leave the house at 7.
Right.
They can have you working from 7.
Yeah.
Actually on the job without leaving your house. From then and blah, blah, get this done. And whether that equates to either overtime or you finish early or whatever. Yeah. But, you know, they're not only are they taking away your time by forcing you to commute, and they have went well out of their way to fuck up all of the traffic right across the world with the millions of lanes of the millions and millions of miles of cycle lane that were put in to prevent people contracting COVID. How that's supposed to work, I don't know. But so not only are they inconveniencing you with all of that, they're inconveniencing themselves because they could have the work done earlier. And it's basically because the boomers are going, well, how do I know if he's working if I can't fucking see him? And you're like, yeah, because do you know what? You look at what was done at the start and you look at what was done at the end and see the difference. That's what he done.
Yeah, well, that's what they did with us. They measured us by the amount of code that we wrote.
Yeah. You know, it's really easy.
I think we have to remember how these disgusting people operate. You know, decades ago, I would assert, you know, they sat around, you know, these nefarious people who don't have the balls to show their faces. Decades ago, they sat around in these wanky think tank rooms and thinking, okay, what do we want to be the outcome? You know, how do we achieve that? All the rest of it. And so we've seen what's happened over the past 5 years, how fear was used to manipulate people, all those sorts of things, get people to do what they don't want to do, coerce everyone, all the rest of it. But part of that is also watching human behaviour after the fact. And so again, you know, this would be part of it, to watch human behaviour and see, okay, well, can we continue to manipulate them even when the threat of a deadly virus is gone? We're all protecting everyone by staying home and working from home. Can we continue to manipulate people and get them to go back to the office and observe, you know, human behavior, you know, in this period of time as well? I don't doubt it for a second that they're trying to, you know, manipulate everybody and see what they can get them to do, you know, and then seeing what's the outcome.
You're absolutely right. What they did was I believe in America anyway, what they did was the COVID with the masks and the 6 feet distance, staying home, all that bullshit. They were teaching the populace to obey. That's what they were doing, and they wanted to see and what happened. You had certain people that we call Karens. You had them going around screaming, "You're not wearing a mask! I'm driving by myself, asshole. What do you want?" Right? And they would scream at you for not being 6 feet away, right? And so they were turning on each other, and they were teaching you to obey. And they've done this all throughout history, but a lot of people now are thinking that they were trying to prepare you for that WEF Klaus Schwab for his Great Reset, which was really just a reincarnation of Agenda 21 when you think about it, with a couple of amendments.
And Agenda 2030 is the same thing. All of that was, but
because everybody found out what Agenda 21 was and went, we got to change the name. So they went with Agenda 30, like real smart.
No, here's what it was. They wanted all of that finished by 2021, but that didn't happen. So they then moved it out to 2030. And when it hasn't all happened by 2030, they're going to move it out to 2040 or 2035 or whatever it is. People, all of the people on our side of the aisle are pretty much, they came from a long line of people who have the position that we do not persecute our political enemies once they're defeated and whatnot. Do you know what? The other side of this argument, whenever that agreement was reached to not persecute your political opinions, the other side of this argument, the left, they never agreed to that. And in order for us to win, we're going to have to realize that unless we cut the head off the beast, it's never ever going away. It can't be subdued, and we can't continue to carry it on, and it needs totally eradicated. But I'm going to interrupt us all with a poem because of what we were talking about. This is quite topical, and it's one I wrote. It's called Destination Fucked. You cannot buy a return ticket to Destination Fucked. If you ever evacuate that station, only carcasses will be trucked. You should proceed with caution before embarking on that train. It is a one-way journey and will always end in pain. There are many routes to travel, such as envy, sloth, and greed, delusion of intelligence, so sound advice you will not heed. You could embark at deception, ignorance, malice, or hate, but beware the station master waiting at the gate. When you bring those most intolerant to live within your land, then feed the rabid animal and forget to guard the hand, then become quite condescending to those against your new social construct, you have bought a one-way ticket to Destination Fucked.
Very good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes.
Once was a man from Nantucket. Never mind.
Whose dick was so long.
Yeah. I wasn't going to really go to a glory hole or anything like that.
No.
All right.
Oh, the first thing I ever, all this writing stuff, the first thing I ever messed about with was nursery rhymes. So you end up with things like,
I love this.
Humpty Dumpty was pushed. Humpty Dumpty was pushed. All the king's horses and all the king's men gathered around him and kicked him again because Humpty Dumpty was an annoying bastard. But then it goes that Mary had a little skirt that split right up the sides, and every step that Mary took, the boys could see her thighs. Mary had another skirt that split right up the front. She wasn't allowed to wear that one because the boys could see her cunt.
Oh, good Lord. See, that's funny. In my country, you cannot say that word. And I'm like, you cannot, you would be strung up.
See, Robinson Aussie. And it's just part of the language.
I know it's part of your language. Yep. I love that though, but because I don't like words I'm not allowed to say, right? Just personally, I would never say it, but still, it's part of that conditioning that they do on us in America.
Well, because on my show, it's we try not to use that word. So a lot of people say can't, CAN apostrophe T. Yeah. So they're real can'ts. Yeah.
There's the Aaron Cleary one.
Runt.
Aaron Carey, asshole consultant, he calls them cunt-ha-ha-has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The hoo-has, yeah.
generally, whenever he's talking about teachers, teachers, they're cunt-ha-ha-has. Yeah.
The wufta fufta.
Yeah. Right, Rich. I believe you've got a story for us.
Who, me? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nah, I don't know, because I was going to look for like a goofy story like I always do, but then I thought I'd write one instead.
Yep.
But I don't know if it would. I don't know if you guys would be into. All it is the CIA and FBI agents. There's 20 of them.
Perfect.
And they confirmed that Obama was exactly the architect of that whole thing. So I don't have to read it. I mean, I don't know if you guys would be in on it.
You're like, right, that you done that.
What's that?
You're like, yeah, I've just summed it all up.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I did a video on it too, right before I came on here.
We will, coming up to the end credits, I will stick that in the link for that in the chat so that everybody can go and see it.
Aussie slang is hilarious. Yeah, how about it, Aussie?
Yeah. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The mouse got all mixed up.
That's pretty funny.
I love Budgie Burger's comments. One of the many things that I really enjoy about this stream and doing this, being
able
to make use people, is Budgie Burger's comments. They're fucking hilarious every week. Really good. Let's see. I think we'll do another musical interlude. I will find that. Oh, Rich, do you have? Yeah, you can put it up. Do you have the 42 version, the bonus one?
I do. I don't know which one. I'll put it up. Yeah, if you want.
Oh, here I can check in the email, and I will probably be able to get it there.
Yeah, I have it right here.
All right. Yeah, you threw it up.
Well, there were two of them. I don't know which one you like, but.
Oh fuck! Both of them. I will like both of them. I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I could play it.
Yeah,
I got it right on Suno, as a matter of fact. So let's do it. Here we go. As a matter of fact, so let's do it. There we go.
Hold on. What have I done? Should do that? Yeah,
you guys probably couldn't hear it. I'll start over. Sorry, I'll start over. You know what? I screwed up. I thought I was sharing the tab, but obviously I wasn't.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if this. Yeah, here we go.
Here.
42 steps down the rabbit hole. Facts and riddles, truths untold. A kettle boils, the tea pours slow. Did you know? Did you know? British wit, a question asked, answers hiding in the past. 42 and counting. Life's a puzzle twist of fate. Through the screen you navigate. 42 and counting. Big Ben ticks the London fog. Quirky charm, a dialogue. Why is the sky blue? Why the grass green? Curious mind in between. From Newton's fall to Darwin's core. counting me. Life's a puzzle twist of fate. Through the screen you navigate, 42 and counting me.
Six seasons. Yeah, there it is. All right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I like that. That was cool. I really like that.
Cool.
It's a bit strange seeing my name in anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, yesterday I turned on YouTube on my TV and I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing there? Because it was your ad. I was like, oh God, look at that. What the hell am I doing up there? I don't even know. Yeah. I went through imposter syndrome.
If you don't like seeing your name in things, 42, there's a book by Douglas Adams that you shouldn't read.
yeah. Well, that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
I was a big Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan
Right.
in my later
Incredible.
teen years, and then whenever I started to write about life and shit, well, mostly start off with poetry, but I was like, I'm gonna put this stuff out into the public domain, and I was looking for a name, and the first thing I knew was it definitely wasn't going to be my given name. That was never going to that was never going to be a thing. What with an abusive relationship and shit. And the other thing is, I had looked at how society treats men and decided they don't really treat them like people, which is why I decided to have a number for a name. And it took me about a second to realize, a number, that's going to be 42. So that's where that all came from. But
I wasn't as original. RPW is my initials.
Oh fuck! And then I changed my name by Facebook as well. Oh fuck! Whenever I started I wanted to start a Facebook channel for 42, or Facebook page for 42, and Facebook said 42 is not an acceptable name. So what I had to do was create a normal profile and then make the 42 pages a page from that profile. Nice. So therefore I needed a human name. And I had to do all of that inside a internet cafe with time burned down on me. And that became Frank Twaddle, as in Frank, straightforward honest and twaddle a little bit of madness. And did not realize that I was technically changing my name at the time, because now there's more people know me as 42 or Frank Twaddle than my given name, which I'm quite pleased about.
You know, it's funny. You know the channel Thoughty 2?
Yes.
Okay. He said one time in an interview that he wanted to do 42 because he also was a Hitchhiker's fan, but somebody already had it. And so he did 42 to be ironic.
Oh, I'm going to guess that was me.
He has a really good sense of humor, by the way, if you ever like watch any of his interviews.
I have. I've watched the stuff. I do like him.
Yeah, I do too.
I
He makes
maybe
like
sling him a
$500,000
line
a
and
year
try and get him on.
of YouTube alone.
Yeah.
He might go for it if you're the guy that stole the name he wanted. He
Yeah.
might actually
It depends if you had the name before he did Thoughty 2. Yeah.
And
That
to
would
be
you.
oh, fuck, there. And I'll tell you how weird and random this is. The only reason I have a YouTube channel is because I took part in a project for the Northern Ireland Human Rights Commission, and they did a Foxpox video of like 6 or 7 different people. Give them 30 seconds to talk about their rights. And I ended up in this. Actually, I'm going to find that now. So we can play it. And I wanted to put that on YouTube. So I had to create the channel at that time to put this out. So if it hadn't been for that, he probably would have got his channel name.
Top tip: just go on everybody else's channel.
All right, see if I can find this. All right, here we go. Bum, 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 bum. Right, back to StreamYard.
Oh, wow.
That Hitchhiker's Guide's popped up again. Somebody mentioned that to me the other day. I haven't seen it, so I think maybe now I have to.
Oh,
Well, you should read the book.
no. You need
the
to
book?
read.
You need to read the books. Oh, you will.
Yeah,
I used to read it. when
you have to read it. I've
I used
read
to work
10 books
in-
in my entire life. You have to read that.
I used to work
Okay.
in Center City,
Oh,
Philly, and I had to take a train in, and I would just burst out laughing, and people would be like looking around at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's a fucking book, because you just laugh throughout the whole. I read them all too. I laughed throughout every single one of them.
And
Oh, great.
the other thing is, it's a trilogy of books. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Restaurant at the End of the Universe,
Life.
It's the Universe and Everything,
Right.
and the 4th book in the trilogy, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish.
Thanks for all the fish. Yes.
Yep. Nah.
Unfortunately, he died too early.
Yeah.
Yep. We've got this.
I would have read anything he wrote.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good.
This one. Yep. That's it.
Talks about human rights. Oh, there you go.
Here.
Wow. How about that?
Fuck, this is my old channel with 11 subscribers. I may actually start to do some work on that one. That's the Men's Advisory Project, the people who I did my counselling with, and that's my old logo. I was abused verbally, physically, financially, or psychologically every day for 25 years, but not once did the term violation of human rights cross my mind. My only concern was getting through the next hour. Rights are like muscles. Without exercise, they disappear, but they must be exercised from a safe environment. In Northern Ireland, there are refuges for women, shelters for cats and dogs, sanctuaries for donkeys. Birds, wildlife, plant and fauna are protected, and yet there is no shelter for male victims of domestic abuse. Until that changes, these men will continue to enjoy no human rights whatsoever and thus remain less than human. And that is where the YouTube all started for me.
Mm.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. True. That's one
Not
of
much you
those.
can say to that, is there?
Well, and what that's one of those taboo subjects now that, you can't talk about that because if you do, you're just
Deadly.
supporting misogyny, and it doesn't really happen. You've got it around the wrong way.
Well,
Just women as women suffer from domestic violence, not men. And it's now a taboo subject. It's just ridiculous.
yes, but Robin, what you have to understand is they spent a really long time in a place called Duluth. Like they did this extensive study for 2 weeks on 5 people, 3 female victims and 2 male perpetrators. And over that 2 weeks, they came to the conclusion that the reason why domestic abuse happens is because men are bad. And they created the Duluth Power and Control Wheel, which is what all of the current domestic violence things based upon. And their problem with accepting the level of male victims is that automatically dissembles their whole racket, criminal enterprise, and grift. The violence against women and girls industry is multi-billion-dollar with ring-fenced funding every year. And there's far too many people getting far too rich out of it for anything to ever change.
Well, that's like I can't remember the doctor's name now, but it's the same with shaken baby syndrome. I've interviewed a few people, parents being put in jail, particularly fathers, for shaking their children to death. And the what are they? Can't remember the express vocabulary, but the markers that are used in hospitals, for medical professionals to say, oh, this is shaken baby syndrome, was all came from some research and a report from a particular doctor. Can't remember his name now. And even he himself says that this in no way, shape, or form, any of the work I did, shows that a baby, or proves that a baby has actually been shaken, and they've totally co-opted his research and are still using that, in courts of law to prosecute parents to say that they've shaken their children. And the very doctor who says is it's a load of nonsense. It's terrible. And here we have, parents losing their children and people being locked up and all the rest of it based on a paper that someone's written that has no right being used to say someone's shaking their child. Terrible.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like we all know what COVID did was prove to us how little medicine there is in the medical field. But to be totally honest with you, we have cases now where women are getting screened for testicular cancer, where men are presenting at hospitals for a smear, for a cervical smear.
In America, we had a man that went in for an abortion.
Right.
And he sued the clinic for not taking them seriously.
Right.
And he won.
Everyone can get prostate cancer now.
And he won.
But here's the thing. These are the same doctors in the same health system that's looking after your heart. These are the same people. You need to have the same. A doctor, your level of trust needs to be the same, whether it's a cold, a heart attack, or whatever in between. And the doctor you have to know they're going to go in and give you the best medical advice. And I'm sorry, sending you for a cervical smear is not medical advice. And what I would like to do is the first person that turns up for that, give them the fucking smear and put that video out and see what their penis looks like after it. and see how many other people turn up.
No, man.
Right? You know, the National Health Service England, there was a genuine article on their website that said about men were going to have difficulty giving birth. They'd have to have a cesarean because you couldn't get the child out through the penis.
Ooh,
What?
Yeah,
sorry, can you just run that by me again?
There
It
was
gives new meaning to the term "go fuck
Hang on, this
yourself."
is important. There was
a post on the National Health Service website, and it was an article by pediatricians stating that there would be problems in the future with males giving birth. They'd probably have to have a cesarean because it wouldn't be possible for them to come out through the penis.
Probably.
Yeah.
It'd be an experience he would never forget.
Was probably in a different color or underlined, or did it have a circle around it or something?
No.
Where is the probably?
Wow.
Yeah, right. Look, it's medical professionals wrote this. Now you can't
find, everybody.
Yeah, you can't find that article because the NHS did remove it.
Of course,
but they didn't remove it because it was wrong. They removed it because it was getting quoted and it was turning up as a source.
Wow.
David Lammy read it.
Fuck.
Damn.
Oh fuck. David Lammy and Diane Abbott. I swear to fuck. If you were to take the brains of both of them and squish them together,
it is.
You're still about. Yeah, you're not sandwiches short for the picnic. You've got no picnic. You've got the apple. You know the fruit that you're supposed to eat at the end of it or something. You know, but there's simply nothing there. There's.
Oh my god.
Fuck. I don't know. I would say. It's where I get into trouble because generally with people that are that stupid, my normal question is them, do you not struggle with having bad breath and brown eyes? So, why do I have bad breath and brown eyes? No, you do because you're full up to your fucking forehead with bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think you're allowed to say that about Lammy and Abbott.
And see, I thought all along that we had all the lunatics in the United States. I didn't know they were elsewhere. I thought we had the fucking idiots because freedom and all that. We can't lock them up anymore. In fact, Trump just put out a thing where he wants to get all the homeless people off the streets.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, he wants to put them either in mental places or drug rehabs because that's 99 and 44, 100%.
Yeah,
that's on drugs or they're mentally ill. Some both.
Yeah.
Even at that, I think that having worked with a lot of homeless men, I think there's a break that happens the first time you ever sit on a street and put a hat or a cup or something in front of you for money. And I don't think anybody ever comes back from that. And I also think that most of these people have had a go at trying to do it right and it hasn't worked. And for whatever reason, the system's fucked them over, whether it's divorce, businesses, employment law or whatever. And they've put forth the effort. They've had it all taken away from them. And they're like, I'm not doing this again. And they've found a way to get around it. And the intervention needs to be earlier.
Well, you know what? There's a guy named Mark. I think his last name's Leita. He has a channel called Soft White Underbelly. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but
no.
What he does is he predominantly goes into Skid Row in Los Angeles, and he finds people, homeless people there. And if he finds them interesting after talking to them, he'll take them back to his place, and he just puts up a white sheet. He sits them in a chair and he interviews them. And it's like he'll put hookers, drug addicts,
Uh-huh.
police officers, I don't know, any kind of weird fetish. He has them up there, and he just talks to them, but he gets into like, when did you start this? How did you start this? So one day I watched an episode, and he had another guy who has a channel that does almost the same thing, and they were walking through Skid Row, and it was starting to get dark, and the one guy says to me, he goes, "We're two white guys down here. Do you think we're safe?" And he goes, like later goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Everybody here knows me because they know I make them famous. So don't worry, we're okay." Right. So they're walking through, but it was an interesting conversation because he said, the one guy, the other guy says to Mark, he goes, "Well, what do you think we should do to help these people?" And he goes, "Oh, they don't want help." He says, "I think we should say, fuck the adults, target the children." And
Yep.
he gave a perfect explanation. He said, okay, he goes, because he does GoFundMe's to help specific people if they want to get out of that lifestyle, right? And so he said, one thing that he's learned is that when they go up to one of these guys and they start talking, and they go, "Look, we can get you a job if you want a job." And the guy goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "I got 3 places in this neighborhood alone where I can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner for free." He goes, "Right over there." He goes, "I can get free showers." He goes, "See this building here, this hotel?" He goes, "The guy that owns the newspaper, LA Times," he goes, "he bought that for the homeless people." In other words, they're enabling these people. And he goes, "Oh, and over here where the showers are, we can plug our phones in and charge them up." I'm like, "You're fucking homeless and you got an iPhone? All right, whatever." So he said, everybody that's out here, the adults, he said, they're all on drugs. He goes, "I don't care what you say, they're all on drugs." And he goes, "But what we learned is that if you peel a layer off, all those people are on drugs because they have a mental illness." And he goes, "Now, if you peel another layer off, what you find is that he goes, with the overwhelming majority, when they were children, they were abused either physically or sexually by adults that they were supposed to protect them." And he said, and that's what leads to it. And he goes, "Now, I'm not an advocate for for the state coming in and taking children out of homes for abuse and all that." He goes, "But that's what we have to do if we know that there's abuse." And he said, "Do you know who knows there's abuse? The school teachers." He goes, "But they don't want to get involved." He said, "But the school teachers know when a child comes to school and they're not acting right, or they got the marks on them, the bruises and, the black eyes and whatnot, or when they're very quiet, when they like once a month because their father molests them or something like that." And he said, if we can get to the kids, he goes, "I'm not even saying taking them from the home." He goes, "Get the abuser out, keep an eye on that." And I usually don't like government intervention, that whole America First thing. I don't really like that. But you know what? If you can save a bunch of people when they're children by not having them be abused by an adult that was supposed to be trusted, right? You think about it. I think it makes sense this one time. I think like for government to get in there, or not even government. I mean, you could have a quasi government thing take care of that, but they got to be really diligent on it.
Talking about the onion layers, I got a call from a guy who was living in a homeless shelter and had shared custody of his child, but he ended up in a homeless shelter. And I went up and met him and talking to him about how he was and all of that, and how did you end up here? He says, "Well, I ended up in a homeless shelter because it got behind on my rent, then I got evicted." And I says, "Right, okay, so how did you end up behind my rent?" He says, "Well, I've got post-traumatic stress disorder, and my life and my organization is way off track and blah, blah, blah." And he was working some of the time and he was on benefits some of the time because of the PTSD. I says to him, "How did you get the post-traumatic stress disorder?" He says, "Well, whenever I was 16, I walked out his back door, and you may have them in America and Australia, like streets back to back, and you've got like an alley in between. So he walked out his back door to go out for the evening as a 16-year-old.
Right.
And 4 people were walking up the alley with woolly masks on, and they grabbed them and said, "Are you," I can't remember what the name was, "Well, I'm going to pick this random David McGee. And he says, no, David McGee lives next door. And David McGee was also 16, was about the same height. And they went, nah, fuck that, that's you. So and the fellow that lived next door to him was involved in stealing cars. So they grabbed him, threw him on the ground, put his trousers down, shot him in the legs, and walked off because they thought he was the person from next door that was stealing the cars.
Mm.
And that's where he got the PTSD. You know, his life would have been totally different if he had have walked out that door 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later, because they'd have went into the right house and got the right person.
Damn.
Which is also why vigilante justice is really not good, people, because they do get the wrong person a lot of the time.
Gosh.
And the other thing is that I can tell you,
Vigilantes are less vetted than the police, and a lot of them are fucking idiots.
well, here's the other thing. If they have to go looking for you, that means you've had the message to turn up at X place at X time and have said and have just ignored it and not went. So therefore, because they have to go looking for you, you get done worse than you would have been had you presented. And that's also why they obviously went, yeah, no, he's just trying to get out of this, because they knew he was avoiding them anyway. And the other thing is they don't send people that know the person directly, so that they can't so that the person doing it can't be recognized. You know, so the people that's coming for you don't look at you and go, here, that's definitely that person.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. Northern Ireland has the highest disability payment rates in the United Kingdom, but we did spend 30 to 40 years shooting people in the legs, so that's how that turned
Did they call that kneecapping?
Kneecapping, yes. Kneecap, the rock band that were not allowed to go to Australia.
Who? Oh, really?
Yeah, Kneecap. Kneecap are
That's a
Provisional Republican Army supporting Irish rock group. Well, I don't know what the fuck they are.
David Icke's not allowed here either, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Yes, the Kneecap, because of the controversy about them, they got banned from doing their tour in Australia. Although, had they been left to normal forces, their music would not be anywhere because it's shite, and they speak they rap in a language that no one speaks.
What about these groups? I don't know what you'd call them. That I've come across their videos. I think it's on Fascist Book, and I don't know, somewhere else.
I call it that.
And they go around and obviously spend a long time tracking people, all sorts of stuff. These scumbags that like to do awful things to young children. And they find these people, and
they mostly don't. They mostly don't. Whenever you look into that, you'll find that they have found somebody who is not quite right in the head. They've got issues with socialization, and then they talk to them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yep.
And then they get them to say that one thing that sounds icky and arrange the meeting. Whereas they've had 6 months, a year, 2 years of basically conversation that's worthy of 10 or 11-year-olds. That is totally benign.
Yep.
And then they've got this. Now, to be clear, that's the majority of cases, but there are some. Yeah, Brad Stinson's not as genuine as he looks. They do catch some genuine perpetrators, and that's good. But they make their videos, and they become a thing by entrapping people who are not cognizant.
Yeah.
Not,
Well,
they don't understand.
that was one of the things that I noticed was the people that they were catching and handing over to the police. You know, they most definitely look like they were on the spectrum, I guess you
Yeah.
could say, with different levels of, you know,
Yeah.
socialization difficulties, if you like.
Mhm.
But I
Are we
I was
skirting around a
always a bit,
word here? Is there a word we're all trying to avoid saying?
I don't know, we
No,
got
no, it's
spastic, we got,
Does it
you know,
begin with a C? All right.
no. We're
calm,
skirting around
yes.
the definition.
Yeah, because I didn't really.
I'm going to put my guess in the chat.
It's one of these topics, you know, because I focus on different things in
There you
my
go.
research, and this isn't, yeah, tards.
Yeah, that was funny.
Obviously this topic, and you know, any other kind of vigilante groups, it's not really anything that I've spent a great deal of time researching or looking into. So when I came upon, you know, these couple of groups at that time, and you know, it all seemed to pop up in my feed, I was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't really know. But
The one,
just here. Mhm.
the one thing I will say with the vigilantes here, they do 99.999% of the time start off going after the right person. Like that part of it's been done right. If they're after you for stealing cars, you've been stealing cars. If they're after you for breaking into houses, you've been breaking into houses. If they're after you because you've done something sexual, give yourself to the police right away, because it's not going to be good. But it will be dealt with. And they are after the right people at that point. There's been no courts involved, let's say, so they haven't had. But generally speaking, they've got the right person. But where it tends to go wrong is they get the wrong address, or they get the person that's just right there and looks like it should be them.
Yeah.
I've never moved in Northern Ireland. I look like about 15 different people in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Look, what is it?
Well,
You look like so and so. For about 5 years, right? I look like the pianist from Glee. Like, I was just getting it the whole time. You look like that bloke who plays piano in Glee. So I'm not going to Northern Ireland, because I will just get, he looks like him. Bang.
No, you'll be fine, Pakka. Honestly. Here's the other thing. Those vigilantes, they turn up for they're the people. They turn up to the people that actually live within their community. It's not. They're not going out after outsiders. If it's outsiders, that's a whole different method and technique. And I think, it got quite famous because we had a widespread one a couple of weeks ago in Ballymena, where we had people that needed removed, and suddenly
their house burnt down.
Their house burnt down.
Tragic. I heard. Yeah.
It was a shock. There's a town in Northern Ireland called Ballymena, and it had got it gained something like 7,000 Roma people. The Roma gypsies, in the space of a year, and they were, on the whole, a net drain on society. And then one of them decided they were going to start abusing young girls, and well, fuck, their house went on fire, and so did a couple of their neighbours, who may or may not have been involved, but they were out of that same community. And God damn it, all of a sudden we don't have rumours in unionist areas in Belfast. You know,
There was 2 or
Yeah.
3 incidents, wasn't there? It was on the second or third incident when the people of the town went, righto then,
yeah. Oh,
let's go down and have a word.
Yeah. Oh, the quiet word had been had.
Right.
There was people went down and said, "Look, we know you've done this," and they said to the family, "We know he's did this, and you need to not be here." In fact, I would highly suggest just give yourselves you give them to the police of your own volition, and seek out. And they were like, "Yeah, no, we like it here, we like it here," and now they don't like it there because their houses went on fire, and there was rats for 3 days, and then they moved them all to a leisure centre in a different town, and well, fuck, that went on fire too. And things.
All the people of Northern Ireland seem to be very well practiced of who lives in their area.
Yeah. Oh, we know exactly who lives in our area. We are a very tight knit community, and that's on both sides of the wall. To be clear, I know fuck all about what happens. There's a peace wall about 300 yards away from my house, where there's unionists on one side and there's Irish on the other side. I know absolutely nothing about what's on the other side of that wall, but I'm very well connected with what goes on my side of the wall, and I know exactly how easy it is for anyone to find anyone. We've been at war for 40 years. We've got a good intelligence operation. That's how that goes.
It's interesting because, particularly with the shit show of the past 5 years, and there's so many different groups, so many different tribes, so many different communities that have formed, and some of them are talking about common law and all these sorts of things, and I'm not here to have a conversation about that, that's for sure, but one of the things included in, and even people that just want to be off grid and exit the system and all this sort of stuff, there's a lot of conversations that need to be had about that, and how you live and how society would work and all the rest of it, and one of them is you know what do we call it? Not law, but protecting society and what we do with troublemakers and all these sorts of prosecuting people and all these sorts of things, because if people want to exit the system or dismantle the system we currently live under, what are you going to replace it with? What is it that you want to see? And so these conversations about, law and what do you do with all these people and all these sorts of things, I don't see a lot of these conversations because I certainly don't know anything about all these types of things. Just like I said, when I was looking at those people going after TARDs. But this is one of these conversations that I haven't seen many of. If you want to exit the system, if you want to create another global community that we live under, to replace the awful one that we currently have, what does that look like?
Oh, well, here's another idea. Do you know that collectively we could fix our whole system over the next electoral cycle in whatever country you're in?
I can't wait to hear this.
Right. No, it's really easy. How are America and Canada and Australia and all of that, pretty much everything all falls from the mother parliament in England. Right? Okay, Rich, I get it. You're American. You're not fans of the British. But
I know you don't think you've got our
What are you
rules,
kidding
but
me?
you've got
Why do
our
you think I
rules.
come here?
right, yeah, but right,
I don't
Can
like
I-
your government, but
yeah, right,
Well,
okay.
we don't like a government.
Well, we don't like our government, but here's where we fucked up. The way this system is supposed to work is you have your own community where you live, and you integrate your school and your church, your Boy Scouts, your Girl Brigade, your everything inside that. And what you do is you pick people, local Boys Brigade leader. You pick him and go, see you can speak. You're going to be our politician. And you send him forward. And the political party will take him because he's bringing all your votes. Right? But you need to have community activities and community events that shows your numbers, that makes them take him. Then whenever he goes into Parliament or into the council or wherever, he has to stand his ground and has to do what you tell him, because he has to come back to the BB next week. He has to go to that church the next week. He has to go to whatever it is that week, and then you own him. Whereas outside of my community in Northern Ireland, where we do this, that has been lost on the rest of the Western world. And we now have politicians who, instead of going and judging the Bonnie Baby competition or whatever it is, because they're part of that community, they go to the LGBTQAI thing. They go to the immigrant thing. They go to the sheer law thing. They go to all of that. And
the people coming in, they're doing it.
Yeah,
they've got MPs. They're doing it.
Right. Oh, here's the other one. This is a scouting report. Let's see. Where are we? Bump, bump, bump. I get this up. Where is that link going? I have too many tabs open.
Whoever thought, representing your constituents actually meant anything?
Well, it still does where I live. I know which events my local MP is going to be at. And because it's July, I have seen most of my local MPs at events in the last month where I could have, without anything, provide them very polite and respectful, walk over and say, excuse me, have you got a minute? I'd like to talk to you about this. And then start a conversation where you can actually do that. But to give you an idea of what the left's doing, we'll call this a scouting report. Okay. StreamYard. I will add that up. This is from the Women's Resource Centre. And where's the actual fucking... No, not you. Yes. Better writing fundraising applications. This is a course that starts on 27th of August. And so it's a one-day course. Zoom link. Writing better fundraising applications is a deep dive session into the practical aspects of writing bids. With an increasingly competitive environment and the economic climate still uncertain, the voluntary and community sector needs to be even more confident when it comes to fundraising and funding applications. This workshop will give you valuable tips and knowledge about composing smart, I'm guessing that's an acronym, proposals for any type of funder. This workshop will enable you to understand what funders are looking for in an application, develop the skills required for writing concisely, learn how to best present the case on paper, and feel more confident about completing an application or a proposal form. And this is done by London councils and a group called Ascent. And unfortunately, this event is now full. If you'd like to be added to the waiting list, please email. And whenever they have more people on the waiting list, they will run another course where they teach all these people how to actually get their funding. And If you wonder why the left always seems very well funded, it's because they fucking work at it.
Yep.
There's training for it. You will never see any training for anybody on the right on how to get funding via the government. And this is how the transfer of wealth from the government to NGOs happens. And that's what,
we have an organisation called Jab Injuries Australia. You know, you can bet your bottom dollar, even if they did put on a writing better fundraising applications training day. Even if you got really shit hot at writing those applications, you can bet your bottom dollar when you submit them, the libtard people that work in the office would see Jab Injuries Australia and just chuck it in the bin.
See, but you're dealing with civil servants and they can't just do that. But what they do is they have a checklist for funding, and then they tell the people to provide that training. This is what you must hit.
Commie shit.
And, They tell the people, if it's this type of bed, you need A, B, C, and D. If it's X type of bed, you need W, X, Y, Z. And that, but because the people on the right haven't had that information and that training, they fill in their bed as best they can and just gets turned down for not hitting the points. But the points have been arbitrary and invented for that, and passed out to the people they want to get the money and get the training. It's crazy.
Yeah. People in America on the right are too busy working.
Yeah.
They don't have the time to say, how am I going to get money to do this cause that I want to scream at people and get them to listen to me?
Yeah.
Like our left does. They're just like, wait a minute, I got to go to work. Like, I don't have time for this shit. And that's why, that's why we don't get any of the money.
Well, that's the other thing as well.
We have to work a little bit harder. When you're scrolling online and you see that petition or something, and you go, yeah, but it's going to take me. It might take me 10 minutes to fill it in because they're going to want my email, and you don't do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
just if it takes 5-10 minutes out of your day, just do it. You did something today.
Robyn,
because it's signatures, isn't it?
Yeah, Robyn, you being in Australia, you have our very British way of doing things, and every bill that you produce is going to have a consultation document. Those consultation documents are actually quite the ticket, because the system is designed for approximately 5% of participation by the general public, and that 5% is generally on the left. However, because the bar is so small and they get 10 responses, maybe 15 responses is a lot for a consultation document. All you need is 30 people to double that.
Good point.
And if you've got 5 people looking at 5 different consultation documents, whenever you figure out the answers, you can pass those on to the other 4 who can be your organizers, who can hand it out to the 5 people they've got. And all of a sudden, the government has got a problem of a lot of documents that they cannot get rid of. And it proves that their policies are unwanted. Now, to be very clear, this is a job of erosion. It's not a hammer job. But what's really interesting is you can spring it up anywhere, because any proposal for any bill, you can sneak your issues into the reply, because you can write it that it makes it work. And then they don't know where they have to work. And all of a sudden, they're trying to do something totally benign, and they've got fucking 1,000 objections to it, and they can't figure out why. And if you're genuinely talking about breaking the system and starting it from new, that's its weak point. It cannot stand it can't stand it can't stand volume, and it definitely can't stand consistent volume. Another thing is, every time that a judge gives a lenient sentence to somebody on the left, there's a facility to appeal that to the Attorney General or the Lord Chief Justice. And what you do is you put in where the person that did something similar got a very hefty prison sentence, where the other person, and say one of these is wrong and one of these is right. Again, it's another document that's in their legal system that they can't just get rid of. It'll come up in Hansard, it'll come up in all the results. And then you start to get judges making different decisions, because they start to see, at the minute, all the pressure's coming from one side. And we need to balance that, at least.
Good point, 40, because that's my pessimistic attitude coming out, isn't it? But you're right. We have to be relentless. We have to maintain the rage, if you like, with numbers, because that the numbers and the pressure is important. All those sorts of things.
They're winning by being irritating, noisy little shits.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Put it this way.
Right. What do you fight fire with?
In 2012, I woke up in my car in a lay-by on a very cold morning, because I just left a relationship that was very not good. And in 2014, I was sitting for an hour in the office of the First Minister of the country, explaining what the fuck's wrong. It's possible to get there. It's possible to get your voice in. Now, keeping it there is a whole different issue, and getting some volume behind it. But all I can say is, people like us, we need to just keep kicking the bottom brick. What's accessible, but and also look to what way the system's set up for us to complain about the system and use their method. Because I'm telling you, ignoring the government has not worked for us. We've spent the last 50 years ignoring the government and letting somebody else do it, and it hasn't worked. Could you imagine fucking bringing somebody in to paint your house and just leaving them to it, and then you come back a week later and everything's green? You're like, I didn't want green, I wanted this white. And, well, fuck, you never told me. You know. I'm watching more and more turn green, and you're like, yeah, that's not the way I like, but I'm not going to go over and tell them to change color. You know, we need to do that.
Yep, so true. Yep, I like that. We need to keep kicking the bottom brick. Yeah, I think I'm getting more skilled at kicking those low bricks. I don't know about
you. What I will say, Robyn, if you ever need anything written for like responses and stuff, give me a shout and have a look at how I write it, because I've had a bit of practice. It's there has been civil servants that started taking every Monday morning off because they didn't want to deal with my fucking emails.
Brilliant.
Yeah, because I was. Oh, that's
are you a shit stirrer? I have shit stirrer wooden spoons here.
Yes.
Sounds like you need this.
That's good.
Yeah. See. Oh, another red hot tip: if you're ever writing to your local member of parliament representative, send your email after midnight on Sunday night, because then it's there in their email box first thing on Monday morning. And put your postcode or zip code in the description line, so that they know before they've even looked at it that they're your representative.
Smart.
Hot tip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Activism 101.
My activism is my videos.
Yeah.
That's my activism. I spread the message that way.
Yeah. And to be totally honest with you, we need people like you that are very good at doing videos. We need people like me that can go in and nobble at the government, although I've left it. I haven't really, apart from all the consultation documents that have replied to live online and the petitions that have done live online, I haven't really done very much of that lately. But yeah, I do that as well. I would pull up a consultation document and go through it live so that everybody sees it's possible to do.
Yeah, I've done 2 or 3 live with 42 on his channel. And I sent you one the other week. I sent you a petition about something. Wasn't it?
You did. There was a petition. I think it was actually Mrs. Pakka found that one.
Do petitions
claim credit
work
for that?
there?
What?
40. Do petitions work there? They don't hear, but do they work there?
Oh, right. No. It depends what type of petition it is. If it's a petition to the Houses of Parliament, it's not necessarily going to get you the result you want, but because it's Houses of Parliament, it goes into Hansard. It's in the permanent record. So they then have this policy was disliked by 3 million people that they can never get rid of. And like I said earlier about putting things into place that people coming behind and following can see what it is. If you've got a lot of they don't like the petitions, you're not going to get something changed right away. The one success that I can tell you about that's definite is there is a vaccine you can get, which is a proper vaccine for HPV cancer, which was always given to 12 or 13-year-old girls because it protects against cervical cancer. And it does work. However, boys have got the exact same issue with throat cancer, but it was not given to boys because they're boys and fuck them. And yeah, out of there was a debate in Parliament in 2015 for International Men's Day, and it got brought up at that about the vaccine difference. And in 2016, we did get the law changed, and now both boys and girls all get protected with the vaccine. So there's one that I can tell you did work. And while I did a little bit towards that, there was a hell of a lot of people did a lot more than me, but I was part of that push.
Good. Okay.
So you can get, I personally have, I got housing policy changed in Northern Ireland for a while. There's the housing system in the United Kingdom. You get awarded points, and they go in and look at you and get X amount of points. And if you've got the right amount of points, you're the next person on the list for a council house. They always give women, female victims of domestic abuse, they always give them extra points, which puts them right. Basically, you get housed right away. You come out of shelter in a house, but they never give similar points to men. And I forced the housing executive to give those points to men. But 4 years later, whenever they came to redo the policy, they took the points off both the men and the women and said that we'll sort out the points via the shelters. But there's only shelters for women, so it got took back again. This is a King Canute fucking throwing stones at the tide thing, which is why I say we need to get in and rip the whole fucking thing out, because piecemeal's going to get us somewhere, but the whole system needs took out. And I think our best chance of doing that is by locking the politicians to the community, like it used to be. Because up until about 60 years ago, every politician was pretty locked into their community, and now they're not. And that's why they can shit upon the community, because they don't have to go back yet.
Our politicians are constipated on that thing. They don't give a shit.
Oh, fuck yeah. Right. Anyway, fuck, we've gone 2 hours 40. Right. I am thinking about wrapping this up pretty shortly. So, what have you got that you need to talk about?
Nothing. I will appear randomly on streams, most often with Dangerfield or anybody else that needs me at a moment's notice. There. That's me done. Thanks for having me, by the way. It was lovely.
Oh, thank you so much for coming along. Rich, is there anything we've missed that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we covered it all, and it was a wide range of topics tonight. But I think we covered
it all. Well, again, thank you very much.
Thanks for the invite.
Very welcome. Robyn, first off,
Yes.
You get the right to return next month. So, generally speaking, how it works is you come on for the second half, but you can come on for the first half as well. Fuck it.
I broke that rule tonight. Sorry.
Well, to be fair, I'm working this out as I go along, and 4 is manageable with the guests that I've got. So I would be quite happy to go 4 again. I'm not sure who's going to be the other one, but Robyn, you've got an invite should you wish to. But more importantly, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
Oh, no, just great to talk to you again, 40. And Pakka, really nice to meet you, Rich. I'm going to go and stalk you online today, a little more than I did before.
We should collab somewhat. We should
absolutely.
Yeah, I will absolutely. In fact, afterwards, I'll give you my email address when we're sitting in the studio. All right.
Brilliant.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I just remind everybody to stay relentless and just take no prisoners, I'd say.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend and don't forget to take care of yourselves as well. Very important. I think we all forget that.
Excellent. And again, Robyn, thank you very much. I'm so very pleased you two would get on. So I'm pleased about that. We've made a connection. And right, what am I going to play for an outro? Ooh. What do we have? The one I think is most fitting for this is harmony, melody, and rhyme. Is most fitting for what we've just done. So we'll play that. I will put the comments up on the screen, and then we'll say our proper goodbyes. But again, Robyn and Rich, thank you both very much for coming on. I'm Pakka, and we will get this outro on.
Cheers, guys.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, John? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. From that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing, days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before, forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. You never realized you could not kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. The sun each became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence or is it just sublime that we now bring excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream. And we shall walk this journey together.
I love that.
Here we go. Off we go. Right. Sorry. No, wasn't the bigger people. It was the Britons actually. Boss, but there you go. Anyway, thank you so much. Pakka's been Pakka. Rich has been Rich. Robyn's been Robyn. I have been 42, and you lot in the chat have as always been fucking amazing. Thank you. Good night. God bless. See you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.